Hi, this is Sugandhi Iyer for the Good Fortune Show. Welcome back. How are you doing? I was watching something on YouTube and it just came up by itself. It showed 1,000 years, I think, of economy for different countries. And it would show the changing every year. So from the highest economy and then obviously the lowest economy, there's no space on the screen. But it would show the top, I don't know, many countries. And then if a country went really bad in economy, it would disappear off the screen. It would go down, and then disappear. So this would be a moving projection every year, moving projection of each country. From what I noticed on screen, and since they started this, I think 1,000 years, they showed 1,000 years or more of this. And I just had one look at this, of course. I saw the moving, maybe I could call it graph in a way, even though it's just a list of the highest economy downwards. But let's just say, for the sake of convenience, it's a graph. Just for the sake of convenience, I'm calling it a graph, even though it's not really a graph. It's just a list. For the 1,000 years that they showed, and it would keep changing every year, China, and they showed it as the Ming Dynasty. So they showed it as Ming Dynasty, and then after some time it became the Qing Dynasty. And I really don't know how to exactly pronounce it, so I'm just going to spell it out, Qing Dynasty. So the Ming Dynasty followed by the Qing Dynasty. I know that it kind of represents the China area, was always at the top of this list of countries. And they showed this for 1,000 years, and with each year, they went through each year, and it was obviously changing very rapidly, but the Ming Dynasty and other associated names was at the highest. And second was India. But for India, it was represented, it was not called India, just like China was not called China. So India was not called India, but it would have the Mughal dynasty, the Muslim dynasty. I mean, they invaded India and they took over a lot of India. And then followed by the East India Company, which was the British in India doing trading. And then the British Raj, as they call it, the British Empire in India. So for these 1,000 years or so, China was at the top of the list, followed by India. Under its various empire names, that's what I'm saying, the empire name would change. Just like in China, the empire name would change. And then below that, all kinds of changing things. And then USA. Once USA came into existence in the 1700s and whatever is what I vaguely remember, at least that's what the chart showed, it started to climb. It started to climb, and then at some point it took over. It became first. United Kingdom, because of its money coming in from its East India Company, the British Raj in India, and maybe some other colonies, it started to rise too. But not because of its own self. It was from its colonies or from, so as the British Raj entered India, the East India Company, and then the British. Before that, it was the Muslim rule. But before that, it was all the kings of India, basically all the kings of India. So the various Chinese empires on top, number one, followed by all the Indian empires with whatever changing names. And then UK started to rise, maybe because of all the money that it was getting from India and from some other colonies. It started to rise. And then when USA came into existence, it started to rise and it came up to the top. So any surprise that China would regain its footing and its share. Any surprise that India would regain its footing and its share in the top. There's no surprise because these empires have been doing it under different names for many hundreds of years. So if some countries went down because some other countries rose up using these countries, or at least India was used a lot, well, the hidden success energy, the underlying energy that fuels these countries, makes them rise up again. Maybe it's China is more into communism and all that stuff right now, and nobody likes that. But the fact is, under whatever guise, or under whatever platform, using whatever platform, the fact is these empires were the highest, the top, for centuries. And they're just going back to their original place. They're rising up again because they have been successful in the past for centuries. They have the good fortune of being on the top. Now, whether some corrupt governments took over, and I'm not talking of India, but whether some corrupt governments took over and gave it the form of communism and all of this stuff, still, the ability to be at the top is ingrained in these people, in these empires, by whatever name in each era. So USA, once it came into existence, it just started to rise and it went up to the top. But then so surprising that, well, it's actually not surprising that empires that ruled before are rising again. They're rising again. They're coming back to their natural ability to be strong and successful. And UK, which came up because of its colonies or whatever investment it has in different areas, basically got a lot of money from India at that point. It was rising up too. So its own East India Company in British Raj in India was the second highest, but that's still India, right? Because India was at the top with whatever empire that was ruling it at that point. But then UK rose up because of all of these things. That's what you can see from this list, because UK was nowhere. But when the East India Company and the British Raj started rising up in India, using India as its platform, then UK started to rise. So the innate ability to succeed lies in some countries because they did it on their own. They didn't use somebody else. I know India never invaded anybody. India doesn't invade. It was invaded many times, but it itself will not go and invade, So still, the the intrinsic ability to succeed basically lies within you and who you are. And if something pushes someone down for a bit, doesn't mean that they can't rise up. Doesn't mean that they cannot rise up, because the innate ability lies within you to rise up and to be successful and to gain back your good fortune energy. Because it's always with you. could have been taken over by somebody else or by some other forces. Someone could push somebody down temporarily, you know, stamp over them. But if somebody has the innate ability to succeed, they can rise up again. They can rise up again. And this ability is within someone. So if you take somebody, somebody has this ability within this person. And if somebody else tries to push this person down, this person, because of this innate ability, will regain his footing and rise up again. And if you see history, and if you just go and look at this chart, again, I'm telling you, I just took a glance at this. I did not really study this, but I did see all of these Chinese empires right on top, followed by the Indian empires. The empires were changing, of course, ruled by different. And then America was born. And then it rose up to the top. And you know that America was founded by people who were into adventure, who were into creating something new, who could take something who could take nothing and make it into something. So the people who created America at the start, they are already powerful people who could take nothing and make something out of it. They were not people who existed for thousands of years no, they were people who adventured into a new place and then took this country, took this land, and made it rise up. No discredit to the Native Americans over there. And in fact, if you think about it, they were actually searching for India, and America was born. So at that point, India was a beacon, and people wanted India's success. They wanted it. And in searching for India, they found America. And this is just history as I have read it very, very superficially. I'm not a historian, so I haven't gone deep into this. It's just very superficial stuff that I've read, and I'm arriving at this. But a lot of people have said this anyway in the past. What this really means is that the innate ability to succeed lies within a person. And if this person takes it into himself or herself, I want to succeed, he will. She will. She will. And will also gain all the advantages, special advantages, unique advantages, and benefits that the universe wants to give this person as a gift to help this person succeed. This is where grace comes in. This is where divine intervention comes in. This is where universal, I would say, universal blessings are showered upon someone. And any person who thinks that, OMG, I'm losing, has to cancel that word off his dictionary. Take it out of your dictionary. And only allow words of success in. And do not accept the word no. Do not accept it. There's this movie, came out some time ago, an Indian movie. And right now, this person is a huge businessman. Millions, billions, I think, of dollars. So this person, the way that he started from nothing, he kept saying one thing throughout the movie. If anybody said no to him, he would put his hand behind his ear, cup it, and say, "What? What did you say?" And that person would say, "I said no." He says, and so the hero would say, "I don't accept the word no." And then he would go and do whatever he wanted to do. And he would first of all not accept the word no. So he did not allow the word no into his dictionary. People ultimately would have to say yes to him. Now, we're not saying that he went and did bad things and a criminal, and he was not a criminal. He did things the right way. He just didn't accept the word no. And he found a way out of everything. A loophole. A loophole. It could be a legal loophole, but he found it. Someone doesn't have to be a criminal to find a loophole. If you seek, and that's what we spoke about, I think the last show, the show before that, if you seek, the universe will start to show you success. So let's say somebody's searching for a loophole and he's seeking, and maybe he's in a legal predicament, or he wants a way out. He's not in a legal situation, but he wants a way out and get what he wants without infringing any laws, without breaking any laws. Sorry. He can do searches and have people do searches for him until he gets what he wants to see. And once a person seeks and starts to reach for higher and higher vibrations, it doesn't have to be a huge leap in belief system. It doesn't have to be a huge leap in vibration. It could be a small leap in vibration. He will be in higher vibration soon and getting all kinds of solutions to a situation. And then he can put his hand, one hand and then another one on top and then another one on top. Or if he's climbing a ladder, if that's mountaineering, then, or if he's climbing a ladder, one foot in the other foot and the other foot, and then he's up, he's free. He's home. The universe, with all of its vibrations, has also very small, it's not that there is one really low vibration and then a middle vibration which is much higher and then the last vibration which is the highest. No. There are incremental vibrations in between. Small, tiny increments. So if a person cannot go from a very low vibration to a very high vibration, he can do incremental climbs. Very tiny. But it's still better. It's still better. It's still better. An inch. And soon he will be in a position where he can now take big steps. and reach his success level, get his goals. And this can be done using affirmations that change incrementally. Sometimes people are not comfortable with hugely successful affirmations. It's human nature. The mind rebels. So, for example, let's say there is a woman and she doesn't think that she's pretty. She does not think that she's pretty. What she can do is, so let's say she says to herself, and we want to cancel the negative statements right off. She can say, and this is fictitious Jane, and she says to herself, and this is fictitious Jane's mind voice. Mind voice. And she says to herself, and we want to cancel this as we say it. I am really bad looking. You know, this is Sugandhi, and I don't even want to use the word ugly here. It's just, I don't want to say it. So she tells herself, fictitious Jane, I am really bad looking, or I don't look good. And maybe she says, I don't look good at all. It means there's nothing good looking about her at all. And when somebody comes to her and says, can you just affirm that you're beautiful, that you're gorgeous, that you're amazing? Fictitious Jane looks at her and says, what? How can I do that? I can't do that. I cannot do that. So what she can do is, before she gets to the place where she can tell herself convincingly, I am beautiful. I'm amazing. I'm gorgeous. Oh my God, I'm so cute, cute, cute. Okay. What she can do is she can say, maybe. And right now she's at, I'm not good looking at all. And she kind of believes it because she relates to this vibration. She relates to the statement. It seems true to her. I'm not good looking at all. And we're not using the word ugly here. Though there are people who can tell themselves that too. You know, I am UGLY. Cancel. I highly recommend that you don't do that. Don't say it. At the very, the worst case scenario, go for something like, I'm not good looking at all. Though this is not my advice either. Like, don't say these things to yourself. But fictitious Jane is saying. So what she can say is small increment. She can put a doubt into it and say, maybe I am not all that bad looking. Maybe I am not all that bad looking. And then she can say, after all. See, a small increment. But it introduces enough doubt into her mind. And there's been a small vibrational shift from, I am really bad looking. I look so bad. And to, maybe I'm not all that bad looking. After all. Small increment. And then she can go to, maybe there are some things that are good about me. After all, maybe there are some things that are good about me. Then she can go to, she's looking in the mirror now, or she's thinking of herself in a mind's eye, and she's saying, I don't think my eyes are all that bad. They're quite okay, actually. And then she sees herself with new eyes. With new eyes. And she likes her eyes. So she's saying to herself, maybe my eyes are not all that bad looking. maybe my eyes look quite nice after all. Mhm. Or maybe my lips are not so bad. Maybe my lips are not so bad after all. Maybe they're fuller than another person's lips, but they suit my face. My face looks nice with my lips. My lips